All right, on today's episode of the Locked On Knicks podcast, a little rookie watch. Do your favorite rookies actually deserve playing time? We play heads or Thibs next on Locked On Knicks.
You are Locked On Knicks, your daily New York Knicks podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hey, what's up, guys? You are Locked On Knicks, your favorite daily New York Knicks podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. We are about to play a fun game, breaking down your favorite Knicks rookies. But before we do that, I wanted to remind you that Robinhood Gold provides the privileges of high net worth for any net worth. These generous benefits are now available for only $5 a month. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. Sign up at robinhood.com/gold. I also wanted to remind you, a lot of reminders today, that your favorite podcast now has a newsletter. Introducing the Locked On Knicks daily newsletter, the one-stop shop for ultimate team and league coverage, delivered right to your inbox. You get daily stories from either Alex or I, our national NBA writers, and of course, my favorite Australian in the world, Josh Lloyd, giving you the latest in fantasy basketball. So sign up for free now at LockedOnDaily.com. That's LockedOnDaily.com, and start your day with the all-new free Locked On Knicks newsletter. But who's talking to you? I'm Gavin Shaw, your favorite play-by-play broadcaster's favorite play-by-play broadcaster, just coming back from doing some Arizona State volleyball. Still have the makeup on to prove it. He's Alex Wolf. He's not wearing makeup, as far as I know. Editor-in-chief of The Strickland, the greatest Knicks website in the whole wide world. You can check them out on all forms of social media at thestrick.land. Alex, you created this game, so I'm going to leave it to you. What are we doing today?
Yeah, I don't give me too much credit. I came up with this in 5 minutes before we started recording, but hey, I guess that's when some good ideas come to be.
All the great ideas are spur of the moment, man. Shower, light bulb turns on. Yeah, that's where the magic happens.
I didn't even have to shower for this one. I haven't showered in weeks. Impressive. I'm just kidding. I showered.
Yeah.
No, but yeah. So initially, my thought was that we could look into some stats for the rookies and try to make a case for why they should be playing or whatever. But when I started looking, I mean, even like Cleaning the Glass barely has stats available for some of these guys. I don't even know if they've bothered inputting them for like Dadiet, for example. It was like, it only said he's played 4 games so far. And then I'm like, I don't think that's right. And he's played in 8 games so far. So it's a little hard to find stats for these guys. So instead, I figured let's do a little bit of a role-playing game. We'll play heads or Thibs. So what's going to happen is for each segment, we'll flip a coin. I'm going to just do it on like Google or whatever. So nobody will be able to see it, but trust me, it's going to be fair because I kind of don't want to be the Thibs. I feel like that's the place you don't want to be in this game, where you have to just crap on the rookies and say they don't deserve playing time. But Gavin, first I'll ask you, what rookie do you think we should talk about first?
All right, Alex, I want to talk about Pacome Dadiet before we get to anyone else. I kind of think he's the most important guy. I asked Tom Thibodeau about him yesterday, and he kind of hinted at there were like specific elements of the Phoenix matchup. I think my main takeaway of it was that he didn't really trust Pacome to play in rotation when, as we saw, like the Knicks' star defensive wings are struggling a little bit playing in rotation after doubling Devin Booker. But I think there's an obvious role for him. You have Mikal Bridges playing more minutes.
Hold on there, Gavin.
Yeah.
We haven't decided which position you're taking.
Right. I'm being Gavin. I could be Thibs. All right, go ahead. Flip your stupid coin. Let's do it.
All right. So let's just say if you win this toss, you get to be for Dadiet, and if you lose, you have to be Thibs. Okay. All right. So call it in the air, heads or tails?
Heads.
It is heads. You got it. So there you go. Continue. I'll make the counterpoint.
Yeah, I was just going to say why he's the number one guy to tell. I think he's the most immediately pressing in this conversation because the Knicks should, pending bad news there, get Deuce McBride back pretty soon. Saw him the other night. He was standing up, talking to everyone, looked pretty spry. They should get Precious Achiuwa back pretty soon, which means Ariel Hukporti maybe will play for a little bit, but not for super long. Unless you still want to make a case, he'd belong in the rotation. Pacome Dadiet is hyper relevant right now because the Knicks are way overplaying their wings. It's clear some way, somehow they're going to have to get a reliable NBA wing at some point this season. But what if that guy is already on the roster? We've seen Pacome lock up defensively against the Nets, but the way he moved his feet against Jalen Wilson was super encouraging. Clearly high basketball IQ, 6'8", a lot of length. Like, he will make some mistakes because he is a teenager playing NBA basketball, But honestly, when I said before the season we were debating this and you were kind of making the case for him to play, and I was like, yeah, I don't know. I just don't really think he's going to be ready defensively. He's way further ahead than where I thought. And he can clearly shoot the three, 45% from distance so far. Granted, super small sample size. I hear that, but the shot looks beautiful. It's looked beautiful since preseason. And like, what more could you want in the world than a 6'8", 3-and-D wing with some smarts, with the ability to cut off the ball? I think he could be a solid contributor right now. And most importantly, you need the guy because you don't want Mikal Bridges to lead the league in minutes. You really don't want to test OG Anunoby's health playing him 40 minutes a game. And Josh Hart could use a freaking break.
All right, listen here, Gavin. Let me tell you.
Whoa, Tom.
Yeah,
when did you get here, buddy? I thought you left last night. Jesus.
I don't know if I can get raspy enough.
No, you're gonna blow out your voice, and there's gonna be no more Locked On Knicks for a month because you try to do that a full show.
Listen here, ice. All right,
it's over.
Yeah. Anyway, I got that all out. Okay. So as Tom Thibodeau, let me just say here, I think what you said is valid, and he looks better than I could have ever expected as a 19-year-old, which is why I've given him any minutes, period, when I am normally inclined to never give someone that young any minutes. But what I will say to you is that the guy still cannot really do much other than shoot threes on offense. I have no faith in his handle at this point. Every time he tries to break someone down off the dribble, it feels like he's getting it poked away from him. He is shooting a robust 0 of 1 at the rim so far this year. Have you seen what our wings have been doing and what their offense has been predicated on? It's been not just shooting from the corners, but also cutting inside and getting layups in there. So I think that is my biggest deterrent. He's done better than I expect on defense. He's a better shooter than I expect, though. For shooting almost 40% from three, it seems like everyone that doesn't go in is a dead air ball, which is also not great because that takes away one of our other strengths, which is offensive rebounding at our best. So I think for those reasons, I don't know if I can trust him. And in fact, I think I'm going to have to keep playing Mikal Bridges 45 minutes a game because you can't trust this kid unless you're up by 40 with 2 minutes to go. There's no way to know that lead is safe. So yeah, I'll hear your rebuttal, but I can't say that I'm going to, really make anything of it.
Tom, I love you, but you're wrong on this one. He doesn't have to create off the dribble. That is the whole point of having bench units with a Mikal Bridges, with a Karl Anthony Towns, even campaign. Like, you have multiple shot creators, and the Knicks have the ability to have multiple shot creators out there on the floor. The goal in doing this is just that Pacome buys you a few extra minutes for Josh Hart. If you want to say he's in there for Mikal, like maybe it's Jalen Brunson like playing with the bench unit, and then campaign playing with the starters. You have so much offensive talent right now. You can survive that, especially for a guy who looks to be really good defensively. Like I'm fine with someone who's just gonna like space the floor. Like, I don't think he has to do a lot more than that. We saw preseason. I referenced it before, but like he's a really good off-ball player, capable off-ball finisher. We saw in preseason he had like a pump and go dunk. Like, he can do that if defenders like start picking up on the shooting and closing out on him. Like, you just got to buy yourself some minutes until this team gets a little healthier and Precious Achiuwa flips the rotation. I agree with you. When he comes back, it's maybe less of a necessity. You got Pacome out there right now. You don't want to run these guys ragged. And also, like, can I just make a case for fun? Like it is fun watching that dude shoot the basketball. It is fun watching him slide his feet against a good wing. Like, I know it's not your main goal, Tom, but I think it would be cool if he played.
Well, if your goal is fun, maybe you could go across the bridge to Brooklyn or something over here.
Come on, that's too far, Tom. I've been a loyal fan for a long time.
Yeah, just when you thought you escaped the people thinking you're a covert Nets operative.
Yeah,
here I come back.
Yeah, it's funny. Tom Thibodeau is the one person last night. I was like, so what do you think about Jalen Brunson, Ryan Pinkerton? I was like, aren't you the Nets guy? I was like, Tom, come on, that was 6 years ago. But,
never gonna leave you there.
Yeah.
As Tom Thibodeau, I must just say, it's great to want to try to get this guy some chances. I'm playing him as much as I possibly can, which is to say sometimes it's going to have to be 0 in a game that I actually want to win against a good team where we can't afford to lollygag for even a minute or two. I'm not saying he's a lollygagger, but how can I know he's not? Because he is 19 years old. So there's no way of knowing for sure.
We're up by 22, Tom. Come on, have a heart.
There's no room for hearts in basketball. There's only room for brains and brawn.
Yeah.
And raspy voices.
Yeah.
That is all.
Cool.
All right. Well, let's see if I have to beat Tom Thibodeau again in the next segment. So we're going to talk about Ariel Hukporti. and make the case for and against Huck in just a moment here.
But first, we want to tell you about our good friends over at Chime. All right, so guys, here's the deal with Chime. We've all hit a point where we realize it's time to make serious money moves. Take control of your finances by using a Chime checking account with features like no maintenance fees, fee-free overdraft up to $200, or getting paid up to 2 days early with direct deposit. Learn more at chime.com/MBA. So Chime helps you make progress with fee-free overdraft up to $200. Your next deposit is applied to your balance. So you get spot on debit card purchases and cash withdrawals and no monthly fees. I love this part, or maintenance fees, and over 50,000 fee-free ATMs out there. To date, Chime has spotted members over $30 million. Friends can give friends a boost. Eligible members get complimentary boost to temporarily increase friends' spot me limit. So how does it work at the end of the day? You set up a direct deposit in your Chime account. After qualifying direct deposit of $200 or more, Chime will notify you to enroll in Spot Me. With an activated debit card, Chime will spot you up to $200 when you exceed your balance. Your next direct deposit is applied to your negative balance. So make fall finances a little greener by working towards your financial goals with Chime. Open your account in 2 minutes at chime.com/MBA. That's chime.com/MBA. Chime feels like progress. Banking services and debit card provided by the Bancorp Bank NA or Stride Bank NA, members FDIC. Spot Me eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in Spot Me and are subject to monthly limits. Terms and conditions apply. Go to chime.com/disclosures for details.
And today's show is also brought to you by our good friends over at Game Time. And let me tell you about Game Time Picks, one of my favorite new ways to look for tickets. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. I've been using this feature a lot lately. As I keep mentioning, I'm going down to Dallas over Thanksgiving, and your New York Knicks are going to be there on the day before Thanksgiving, and I fully plan on going to that game. And I'm going to go with one of my buddies and his son. It's going to be great. It's going to be adorable. It's his son's first basketball game. I'm going to turn him into a lifelong Knicks fan. And he won't even have to be miserable his whole life because, like, they're good now, which is awesome. He's going to grow up so privileged. But Game Time Picks will help me find those tickets and make sure that I'm getting the best deal. I've been looking. I'm being a little picky. I want like really nice seats, but I want to get a really good deal. And I know that I'm going to get that on Game Time. In fact, because they have the lowest price guarantee, where if you don't get the lowest price and you find lower price tickets somewhere else, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. All right, Gavin, we're back in to keep playing heads or Thibs. And our next player, as not so randomly selected, will be Ariel Hukporti. And so, Gavin, I'm gonna choose to pick this time and then flip the coin. I promise I'm not rigging this. Nobody will ever know for sure. But you know, whatever. You just gotta trust me or not. I'm going to call tails, and I'm gonna flip it right now. And it's heads. So, Gavin, would you like to not be Thibs again?
I'm gonna be a good podcast partner, and I'm gonna choose to be Thibs this time.
Okay.
So you got the opportunity. Yeah, go ahead. Tell me, make your case, buddy.
All right. So Ariel Hukporti, I think is just flat out better than Jericho Sims right now for what you need at the center spot at this particular moment. And I'm not saying that I've been saying lately, I believe more in the Jericho Sims advanced numbers, that he does seem to be getting better at rim deterrence. That said, I still feel like there are just some issues, like once or twice a game where he just gets ahead of himself on a rebound, or is just, I mean, he jumps out of the gym like crazy, but doesn't have great touch around the rim. Doesn't have great touch just on receiving passes. And that costs the Knicks 1 or 2 possessions a game. It feels like sometimes it just feels like it's things that Hukporti does not struggle with in the minutes that we've seen. And I think of all guys, you know, you're going to be playing Cat like probably 35 minutes a game. So can you spare Hukporti like 10 to 12 minutes? That's basically what Sims has been getting, just enough to spell Karl Anthony Towns. I think that's plenty, because you know that even if this guy gets in foul trouble, it's not going to really matter. He's and he hasn't proved to be particularly foul prone so far, unless I'm just misremembering his time out there or fudging the numbers. But just based off what I can recall, he's played pretty clean basketball. He's been generating blocks. He had 4 blocks in that one game, which is really solid. I think you give him a shot. Like, why not? Other than for contract reasons. Maybe we have to play heads, Thibs, or Aller here to determine what the root cause is to why he's not getting as many minutes. But I think that he's shown as much promise as anybody on this team at that center spot, where they desperately need some depth right now while they wait for Precious Achiuwa and Mitchell Robinson to come back. I think Hukporti also just kind of gives you the closest thing to those two guys, so that then if you only have one or the other and you want to start getting into a lineup where you perhaps start Precious with Cat out there or start Mitch with Cat out there, I think Hukporti gives you a chance to have a guy that is going to be the closest to what you want out of that center spot. So, Tom, I don't know about you, but I think this kid kind of deserves some more minutes.
So this is the issue with you lollygagging podcasters. Do you remember the fouls? Try watching the games 5 times. I bet you watch 2, 3, 4. I watch it 5 times, and I would watch it more, but then I got to coach, so it's just there's only so much time in the day. Anyways, Jericho Sims does everything that I, as Tom Thibodeau, want in a big man. Career best offensive rebounding numbers, rebounding 13% of our boys' misses. That is 84th percentile in the NBA. Far and away, career best rebounding numbers defensively. His rookie year, 19.2%. Last 2 years, 17.6%. Last year, he sucked. That's why I didn't play him. 14.6%. This year, 22% of the defensive rebounds are being sucked up by Jericho Sims. He's been a monster. He's setting bone-crushing screens. He's protecting my true son, Jalen Brunson. He's the best rim protector in basketball. Hukporti's there too. That's just because I'm coaching him. Sims is everything I wanted big. He's low usage, protects the rim, cleans the glass, and you know what? I did get a call from Brock, and I am not. We gotta keep this kid cheap. We can't let him shine too much. So I'm gonna hold off. It doesn't matter when Precious comes back. Jericho's not playing anymore unless it's my birthday. Then I'm allowed to play him and Precious together for 48 minutes. But outside of that, none of this really matters because Precious Achiuwa is going to be back in a couple of games.
I mean, I'm just saying, Hukporti won one game where he got real minutes, 30 minutes against the Nets last week, 3 of 5 field goals. He had 4 boards, 2 of them offensive, 3 assists, and 4 blocks in that amount of time. That's pretty fantastic. I think there's a real case to be made that he's on a per minute basis going to give you more than what Jericho Sims gives you, especially on the offensive end. I don't think that could be understated. I mean, Tom, I'd be curious to hear what your thoughts are on the fact that Sims is, I don't want to say an offensive 0, but is about as close to one as you could possibly have. He is, and yet you still, for whatever reason, his first play in of the new season against the Celtics, I still remember this one, subbed him in and immediately ran an offensive set for Jericho Sims specifically. I don't fully get that one. Maybe you can care to comment on that. However, I think Hukporti gives you a little more in the lob game. I think that he's got better timing in that regard. I know Jericho Sims has springs in his legs, but Hukporti has more of that Mitch factor of being able to get up there, get an easy dunk, and not completely wreck your spacing necessarily, even though I know that Sims has been pretty good. I will say when he does get offensive rebounds, I've been very impressed with his ability to pass out and get the action going again. But what if you had a guy that instead of doing that wouldn't bring the ball down too low and get stripped all the time, but would instead just go up strong and dunk the ball right over someone's head? That kind of seems like something Hukporti might do.
Well, you know what? He took a stupid jumper. My bigs do not shoot from the foul line. Isaiah tried that crap. I said, buddy, you better learn how to speak Oklahoma City because I'm not going to have it. Look, Ariel, he had a great game. That's why I played him 34 minutes. But you got to take into account that Jericho is protecting like our guy in Jalen Brunson. Like look at how Jalen Brunson. There's a little Gavin leaking in here. Like look at how Jalen Brunson has gotten beat up this year. Royce O'Neal thinks he could just throw him around. Like we don't like OG can give you that a little bit of that, but without Julius, like we don't necessarily have that enforcer on this team. And Jericho Sims, while being probably the nicest guy in the world, is like setting these bone-crushing, nullifying screens and saying, hey, you want to press our dude full court? He's going to run you into 7 feet, 280 pounds of pure force. I don't know if Ariel Hukporti is ready for that kind of smoke yet. And I'm just kind of happy with like the solidity of Jericho Sims. He's like eating Cheerios for breakfast, right? Like nothing crazy is going to happen. Your life isn't going to change, but you know what? It's heart healthy and you're going to have a good day. It's a beautiful start to your day. So I am team Jericho Sims all day.
All right. Well, I guess you've made about as compelling of a case as, and I can't possibly argue with it because you are Thomas Thibodeau. So instead, let's come back in just a moment, and one of us will have to take on the unenviable task of making a case against everybody's favorite rookie, Tyler Kolek, in just a second. But first, we wanted to let you all know about Robinhood Gold. With Robinhood Gold, you don't need a silver spoon to eat up the financial favors of the 1%. Robinhood Gold allows others to get the rates and perks usually reserved for high society. Now, the resourceful individual with Robinhood Gold can earn the very liberal rate of 4.25% APY on uninvested cash and be rewarded with a handsome 3% retirement boost on IRA account contributions. Robinhood Gold provides the privileges of a high net worth for any net worth. These generous benefits are now available for only $5 a month. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. Sign up at robinhood.com/gold. Terms apply. For product-specific disclosures, visit robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. Rate may change. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold, LLC. All right, Gavin, last segment of Heads or Tips. And I will once again allow you to call the coin toss here to decide who will be Thibs and who will have to ultimately be hated by all the listeners of the show that don't understand the concept and then come in our YouTube comments and think that this is us speaking from the heart rather than just putting on a character and working very method and being Tom Thibodeau. So anyway, go ahead and give us a call, Gavin. Heads or tails?
Yeah, give me tails this time.
All right, let's see what we got. We got tails. What do you want?
I like being Thibs. I like the power. I'm gonna stick with it. Go ahead.
I'm not gonna lie. I was kind of rooting for Gang to be Thibs again too. Maybe we should just both be Thibs. We'll just neg.
Yeah, Let's just destroy Tyler Kolek.
No, I'll make the case for him.
Sure,
I'll make the case for him. You know, I think the main thing with Kolek so far this year is he's shooting fantastic. I think that's undeniable. He's shooting. I'm actually going to pull the number up real quick as I'm speaking here. I believe 50% overall from the field in limited action. Of course, all these guys, not one of these guys that we're talking about today has played 2 full regular season games worth of minutes yet. But yeah, Tyler Kolek so far in 8.2 minutes over 10 games he's appeared in is averaging 50% shooting from the field and 53.3% from 3. That also goes with almost an assist per game in 8 minutes. I mean, that means that he's averaging, if you average that out, like almost like 3.5, 4 assists per game. If you extrapolate that out to like starters minutes, which isn't crazy. I think the one thing that I'm not in love with is that he's got a 1-to-1 assist to turnover ratio, which I'm just getting out there in the open because I know that's probably something you're going to attack. The fact that his passing has not seemed quite as crisp in the regular season as it did in the preseason or certainly during summer league. That said, I think the scoring is really good. I think that he's shown a lot of Jalen Brunson in his game with being able to relocate and be able to like find good spots to take threes. I think he's also, I mean, if I may put someone directly in the crosshairs here who's actually been playing quite well lately, a little less trigger happy than like a campaign. So I don't think that you run into the same issues with Payne where he could sometimes shoot you in or out of a game. I think the Kolek has a little more manual quickly to his game in the sense that no matter whether the shot's going in or not, which granted we don't really have. Well, okay. When you want to talk about summer league and stuff, we do have a sample size of where the shot wasn't going in and he was massively affecting games in a good way, which was something that happened during summer league where he was shooting like 30-something% for, I think, the first 2 or 3 games, and yet still was clearly the best player on the floor. I think this is a guy that you want to nurture and you want to bring along and try to get some minutes and start having him be that sort of Brunson light, especially in this world where Brunson is becoming much more of a passer in the last like 5 or 6 games and seems to be focusing a lot on running the offense that way. I think you could pretty easily slot Kolek in there with a guy like Karl Anthony Towns. If Kolek's coming off the bench for Jalen Brunson, and get some quality minutes there and still get really good looks for Karl Towns and for the guys in the corners and a cutting Josh Hart, whatever. I think that he has really good vision, should be able to make that work, especially if you surround him with the best players on the team. I think that'll bring out the best in him. So I think there's a real case to be made for giving Kolek some more minutes. And, even for as well as Campaign's been playing lately, maybe the next time that shot goes a little more cold and he starts going, 1 of 8 from 3 again, maybe give Tyler Kolek a shot.
Yeah, you're talking about Tyler Kolek. You think he's a real point guard? Watch someone like Elfrid Payton, Alex. That is a real point guard. New Orleans Pelicans legend. Guy could block shots with his hair. Tyler Kolek has wimpy hair. He could never block a shot with his hair. It would go right through it. Look, I like Tyler. I think he's going to be really good down the road. Supremely talented passer. The shooting's been good so far. I'm a fan. But you know what? You don't play defense. You don't play for Tom Thibodeau unless your name's Karl Anthony Towns. But for the most part, if you don't play defense, you do not play for Tom Thibodeau. And we watched Monty Morris. I saw it in person, not as Gavin up top, but as Tom Thibodeau courtside. Monty freaking Morris just go at Tyler Kolek and lick his chops and say, hey, I've been washed for 4 years. As Tom Thibodeau, forgot that guy was still in the NBA, and yet he was just cooking Tyler, not for a he had a layup, had another layup that he missed, but you just see Tyler Kolek so often one-on-one holding on for dear life. I think his instincts are good. I think he's going to figure it out. I think he's just like too smart, too savvy to not figure out to a point where he can play. Again, I will concede that I like the pace he brings to the game. Like he's throwing hit-ahead passes that you just lost when we lost Emmanuel quickly on this team. So that's a really good element. The shot is going in. He is just a little bit too overmatched athletically right now. And look, if it was last year and I'm getting my wish, 48 minutes of rim protection, sure, we'll throw him out there. But right now, when he's playing with Karl Anthony Towns, that's just not super feasible. You can't really play him for big minutes with Jericho Sims either, just because, I don't know, like now that I don't have to make the case for it, Sims isn't that great. Come on. I think he's going to be great. We have a glut of guards. Look what Campaign's doing. Look what Deuce McBride's doing when he's healthy. Like right now, make your case, sure. When our guard rotation is healthy, there's just no way to play him right now.
Well, Tom, I think my biggest mistake here was offering that Emmanuel Quickly comparison, because we all know how much you like to jerk that guy around. And so I'm sure that now this is your new muse, your new rookie, and then future sophomore, future junior to torment and not give the proper minutes.
I get off on the tears of fans. So yeah.
Yes, exactly. He's the guy that you make all the fans angry about for not playing, even when they start screaming his name at the Garden and saying, we want Tyler and all that. I see your point about the defense. That said, I think if you gave this guy more minutes and let him figure it out a little bit in real time on the fly, you might give up a couple 6-0 runs like he did the other day. And yet he's going to learn from it. He never stops trying, which is the biggest thing that I think matters to Thibs, to you, sir, at least from what I've heard, which is very Jalen Brunson of him, to make that comparison again. Like Brunson is not always the best defender, but he never stops trying on defense, and that counts for something. So I think that is the case for Kolek. He's just going to get beat on some dumb stuff sometimes because he's a rookie, but rookies need to learn from those experiences. I think that he's shown enough at this point that he should at least start having a little bit of a timeshare with Campaign, because I think that ultimately the ceiling of what he could give you of a more dynamic passer is certainly better. That said, I will concede to you that the only thing that worries me is that these lineups you've been able to play with Campaign and Jalen Brunson, those evaporate if you replace Campaign's production with Tyler Kolek, because from that perspective, Campaign can turn it on and be a really pesky, good guard defender, and Kolek is just not quite there yet. Maybe he'll have some TJ McConnell in him at someday, where he becomes just the ultimate pest. But for now, he's not as pesky on defense and much more of a pest to opposing defenses on offense. So this is maybe the one. This is probably why we wound up actually saving him for last, but this is probably the one where I would say, you know what, Tom, maybe you're right a little bit about Tyler Kolek, because as much as I love the kid, I do think he needs a little more seasoning to be able to take minutes, especially from someone like a Campaign who actually has been playing quite well recently.
Yeah, you gotta watch the games, Alex. You should see, back in the day, I dominated the Central Division. I owned the Central Division. They should name it the Tom Thibodeau Division. I own it. Campaign's just been too good to lose minutes so far. 17 minutes a game, 8 points, 3.4 assists. That is a ridiculously good assist number for a guy who's not always on the ball when he's in the game, shooting 44% from the field, 44% from three. And the defense is just better than what Tyler Kolek can do right now. Like he's quick, he's instinctual. Do I think that'll totally hold up come playoff time? No, I think teams will be more precise in how they target him. I think as the Knicks play better teams, play deeper teams, like if they play the Celtics again, maybe we'll see Peyton Pritchard cook a little bit against Campaign, but he's experienced, he has the speed, and we're trying to come back, right? We got off to a slow start this year. I cannot afford to play anyone that is not immediately making us better. We're going to invest in Tyler. We're going to let him play in Westchester. We're going to let him develop. He's going to come back next year and be an awesome piece. You guys never trust me. And yet I turned Emmanuel quickly into a $150 million a year player. I turned Deuce McBride into someone who's like one of the best contracts in the NBA. Let me take my time. Let me do my process. You will be happy with how Tyler Kolek turns out.
Well, we'll see how that goes without Johnny Bryant here now. I don't know. I don't want to throw shade. Anyway.
Whoa. Hey, you can just promote Rick Brunson. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. No one's complaining.
Except the NBA.
What? What happened?
That was the most.
Right, we gotta shut this thing off. I gotta talk to some people.
Seriously, craziest story that has come out recently. The fixation, the hyper fixation that the NBA has on the Knicks, and thinking that Jalen Brunson is getting extra money somehow or extra benefits somehow because his dad happens to be employed by the team is ultra fun. I love seeing that. So great.
Yeah.
Anyway,
well, Alex, what you don't know is I knew when Jalen Brunson was 8, when I first made Rick Brunson my assistant coach, that he would be a top 10 player in the world. So that's why they are rightfully investigating us. Yeah,
that is true. Is this should we expect? Are you just going to be in character as Thibs for like the rest of the season now? I think.
Yeah, actually, I like this a lot more than our normal show. So yeah, I'm going to stick with
it. I think we've tapped into something here. This is good.
Yeah, maybe once a month. We're playing heads and tips. So, yeah.
We've discovered 2 new things this week. We've discovered Something or Nothing, which is definitely not just a ripoff of Buy or Sell from PTI, and we've discovered Heads or Tips. I think we've come up with 2 really good segments.
The show where we combine them, that's where the magic happens.
Something or Nothing, Heads or Tips. Oh man, my brain will explode.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right. Thank you all, everybody, for listening. We will be back with 5 more episodes for you next week. But for now, this is the end of this week. Thank you all for listening, and we'll talk to you soon. Make sure you check out LockedOnDaily.com to check out the Locked On Knicks newsletter and any other Locked On newsletters that you care to subscribe to and learn about the teams. We have Locked On newsletters for every team now. So again, that's LockedOnDaily.com to check that out. But until next time, thank you all for listening, and we'll talk to you soon. Peace out, everybody.